Welcome to another episode of Game Time, presented this week by Nusenda Credit Union. I'm JP Murrieta, and this week we're at Cottonwood Classical and the girls soccer team and head coach Hussein Swaidon. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Just to make sure I get the pronunciation right, I might call you Coach Husi, which I think is what they call you, right?
Oh,
From
yeah.
here on out, just to make sure I get it right. This is the first year for Cottonwood Classical for soccer. How's year one been going?
It's been going great so far. I mean, great talent out there. We go out to practices, we try to put in the best effort, and we're all excited. We're trying to build history for this program. We're trying to start something that whenever we look at it 5 years from now, we're like, we were the ones that started it all up, and we built it all up.
What is the biggest challenge in the first year of a program?
I'd say our biggest challenge is definitely other schools looking at us as the underdogs. Even like in Max Preps, we had an article that actually quoted us as the underdogs. I mean, that part of that is when our players read those articles starting the season, you could tell like it does excite them in a way where we want to prove everyone that thought of us to be the underdogs wrong, and that is our biggest challenge right now, is building motivation, building inspiration.
What sort of goals and expectations do you put for this team in year one?
Definitely building a team environment where everyone acts as a family more than just a teammate, and then support each other on the field and off the field.
So what would you consider a successful season? You're off to a great start so far.
A successful season would definitely be going to state playoffs and holding that trophy. Yes.
Cottonwood Classical for a small school. We were just talking to some people out in the lobby. You have a bunch of blue trophies already, so maybe this year get another blue to add to it. But enough about us talking. I want to hear about some of these girls. Who do you have? Who are the players on your team that have really kind of risen to the occasion so far?
I mean, it is super hard to decide individual players, because the thing is, when we chose this team, so far, I mean, 1 week ago we had 3 players in the top 25 in the whole state, and that's the whole team. It's like we don't have one goal scorer, we don't have one team player, it's like the whole team. And that's like one thing that I would always tell my players is I choose my starting 11 over any starting 11 in the whole state.
Well, you take on Hope Christian on Tuesday, 3-time defending state champ. What sort of challenge does that present for a new program like yours?
I mean, as you said, it's like Hope Christian been back-to-back state champs, and like even right now they've been doing great in the Metro, playing today in the finals. It's going to be a challenging game. Hope Christian is known to be like one of the top schools in the whole state right now for women's soccer. And we've been working so hard to put all of the effort in, putting all of the intensity in our practices. And going against Hope Christian, we know it's going to be hard, but yet we know that if we keep doing on what we've been doing on this whole season, we could definitely compete, and we could definitely end it in a good way.
Taking on a new program can be a daunting task and challenge. What drew you to this program?
Honestly, the environment of the whole school. Great kids, great students. I mean, if we look at the school, not just athletic-wise, but academic-wise, the school is ranked in the top in the whole state academically. And being part of this environment kind of inspired me to go ahead, apply, reach out to Mr. Gali, and just go through the whole process. I mean, meeting those kids, it was probably one of the best things that I had to do in my coaching career.
Well, you said you got great kids. It's a great program, great school. You're off to a great start. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more Game Time after this. Are you living the life of an athlete? The New Mexico Activities Association brings you Life of an Athlete, a resource for students, educators, and parents to understand the challenges students face. Athletes, one night of drinking will negatively affect your athletic performance for 2 weeks.
and athletes who drink or do drugs are twice as likely to get injured. Alcohol's effects can reduce a high school athlete's potential by as much as 20 to 30%. Are you living the life of an athlete? Log on to the website to find out today.
Hi, I'm Isabella Sturbin from Cottonwood Classical, and welcome back to Gametime.
Welcome back to Gametime, presented this week by Nusenda Credit Union. It's hard to believe we are already 3 weeks into the high school football season. Here's a look back at some of the highlights and standout performances from last week.
The Bernalillo Spartans picked up their third straight win to start the season as Bernalillo beat Portales 14-7. Uriel Castro had a pair of TD tosses. Bernalillo will host Moriarty this week. Las Cruces made their second straight trip to the Albuquerque area to face Rio Rancho. Danny Amaro found the end zone 4 times as the Bulldogs beat the Rams 34-21. Las Cruces will wrap up their non-district play against Cleveland. The Cleveland Storm went on the road last week and had a big night offensively and defensively. The Cleveland defense held the Wildcats to just 2 first downs, and the offense put up major points in a 54-0 victory. Volcano Vista head coach Chad Wallen picked up his 100th win as the Hawks beat Sandia 28-6. Volcano Vista is 2-1 on the year and will take on West Mesa next. In a thriller down south, Roswell's Jacob Palomino scored in overtime and rushed for a 2-point conversion, which proved to be the difference maker as Roswell beat Hobbs 37-35 in overtime. Roswell will open up district play against Lovington. Lovington's Matthew Prudencio threw for 347 yards and 6 touchdowns as the Wildcats beat Carlsbad 47-44. The Wildcats are 3-0 to start the season. Los Lunas and Farmington both put up some points. Quarterback Caden Reese threw a touchdown and ran for a score in their 37-28 victory over the Scorpions. Los Lunas will take on El Dorado next. New Mexico Military Institute and Eunice produced a fantastic finish. The Cardinals scored on the last play of the game, returning a squib kick for the game-winning touchdown to pull out the win 35-30. Eunice is 3-0 to start the year. Goddard Rockets made the trip to Albuquerque to face the Valley Vikings. Goddard picked up their first win of the season 14-3. They start district play this week against Santa Teresa. Albuquerque High quarterback Isaac Houlihan scored 3 touchdowns in Alamogordo, and the Bulldogs held on to beat the Tigers 24-21. Albuquerque High will host Santa Fe this week. The Santa Fe Demons took on crosstown rivals St. Michael's last week. The Horsemen got the better of their neighbor down the street 42-3. St. Michael's has yet to give up a touchdown this year. St. Michael's will meet up with Albuquerque Academy this week. Albuquerque Academy scored on their first 5 possessions against Hope Christian and picked up a 40-14 win. Espanola Valley is off to a 3-0 start this year. The Sun Devils picked up their third straight win in a low-scoring affair with Capital 13-6. Espanola Valley is home for a third straight week, this time against Grants. Legacy Academy was down 3-0 but rattled off 53 unanswered points to improve to 3-0 with a 53-3 win over Hozo Academy. Lorenzo Urban Cedillo threw for over 200 yards and 3 touchdowns and rushed for another. The Silverbacks are at Santa Fe Indian School this week. Manzano mounted a major comeback. The Monarchs were down 20 points against Del Norte, but the Monarchs rattled off touchdown after touchdown on their way to a 42-26 victory. Manzano will meet Hope Christian this week. Lastly, one of the best performances of the week. Centennial quarterback Zaden Davis rushed for 381 yards and 6 touchdowns against Artesia in their 70-39 victory over the defending 5A state champs. The Hawks will host Rio Rancho this week.
Hey, I'm Ryan Carlson from Cottonwood Classical. Check out the latest football polls.
Hi, I'm Abby Dyer from Cottonwood Classical. We'll be back with more game time after this.
At Jiffy Lube, we car about cars. In fact, we're kind of obsessed. It's why we've been taking car business with quick quality service for over 40 years.
Are you saying car?
That's right, Claire. And with things like our Carful Vehicle Review, where our experts check, fill, inspect, and clean your vehicle, you'll know we'll car for your car like we car for our own. Some people think it's just an oil change. Who cars? We do. We car.
You mean care?
Exactly. Jiffy Lube. Car more.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail. Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials across the country because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Welcome back to Game Time, presented this week by Newsenda Credit Union. You know, going from quarterback to linebacker isn't a position change you hear about much. But down south in Las Cruces at Centennial High School, quarterback Zaden Davis is going from being the hunted to the hunter.
As quarterback of the Centennial Hawks, Zaden Davis says his role is to lead the team and help guide the underclassmen.
I feel like my role is to kind of get them in with the culture of being a Centennial Hawk and kind of, bring them in and take them under my wing.
Centennial head coach Aaron Ocampo describes his senior quarterback as a great kid who does all the right things.
He's very passionate. He wants to be good. And right now he's kind of playing out of position. I think he knows in the future he's going to be playing linebacker. And right now he's playing quarterback and he's playing well.
That's right. Centennial's starting quarterback will be playing linebacker for New Mexico State next season, going from a position of being chased to the one doing the chasing.
I think that it's kind of more of like a hunting versus like a victim, because as a quarterback you're kind of there and you have the ball and everyone's trying to come after you, and it's kind of different being on the other side, being the hunter and like, oh well, I'm gonna get this guy with the ball. So I think it's kind of like a switch up in mindset, and so I think it's going to be really fun to play defense and be the hunter instead of being the quarterback and being the victim there.
When he first started playing football as a kid, Zaden was a quarterback, but his second year in high school, his position changed out of necessity.
I think when he came into high school, he really wanted to play quarterback and was really pretty good as a freshman. As a sophomore, he was kind of in a battle with Daniel Hernandez, who now plays at Eastern New Mexico. So we've kind of been blessed with some good quarterbacks. But, Daniel was a junior and he was a sophomore, and Daniel was probably just had a little bit more reps than him. And we found out real quick that we better get Zaden on the field, and we put him at linebacker, and he just excelled there at linebacker. And he played real well at linebacker until Danny got hurt. Danny broke his collarbone, and he went to move to quarterback, and it was amazing how we didn't miss a beat offensively.
Sophomore year, our linebacker got hurt, and they decided to give me a shot at it. And I never played defense before, and so they're like, oh yeah, we'll throw this guy in to see how he does. And I ended up doing pretty good at it. And so then they kind of kept me there junior year, and then our quarterback got hurt junior year. And then they're like, oh, well, he played quarterback, and so let's get him back in there. And then so I played quarterback and did pretty decent at that. So now we're here senior year and playing quarterback.
My philosophy is you better have your best athlete on the team at quarterback, especially in high school football. A guy that can move around, make plays with his arm and his leg is really hard to defend. So, I think if you're a good athlete, you can play a lot of different positions.
Zaden says he always wanted to be an Aggie ever since he was a little boy watching games at New Mexico State.
I was able to go down and see the games, and when I was a little kid too, so I always kind of wanted to do that and go to those games, and I was like, oh well, it's kind of my dream to play there, and so it's always kind of been like a little dream of mine, and so it's kind of crazy that it all came true and it happens.
I think he'd be a pretty good linebacker. He hasn't had the reps that he probably should have had through high school because he's kind of been going back and forth from position to position. But I think colleges are looking for guys that are athletes, that are willing to learn, that are tough kids, and Zaden's definitely all those things.
Defenses will try to catch him if they can this season, because next year the tables will be turned.
Davis and the Hawks will host Rio Rancho next. That's going to do it for another episode of Game Time, presented this week by Newsenda Credit Union. Thanks for tuning in this week, and make sure you tune in next week because you never know where we're going to be or who we're going to talk to or which team we're going to spotlight. But you do know the place to find the most high school highlights is right here. We'll see you next time on Game Time.